My name is Eduardo Jimenez. Was born here in Puerto Rico, raised most of my life in Miami, Florida. I was raised by a Puerto Rican mother and a Mexican father. So at a very young age, soccer ball was introduced into my life. We call this generation of Puerto Rican players the golden generation because it's been the first group of players we've had that have been able to go from U15 to U17 to U20 and to the senior team. Currently on this squad, we have the most players ever that have made that trajectory.
Growing up, we always grew up with hearing that we were the game changers, right? The ones who were getting the new generation to be involved. And so now being the North Star for all the younger kids, showing them the way is, I think, what we all strive for here.
Football brings people together. We're gonna see in the World Cup, like we all speak different languages, but again, we understand that once that whistle comes through, we're speaking the same language, we understand football.
For a long time, Puerto Rico has been known as a baseball country. You think of Puerto Rico, you think baseball, you think basketball, right? You think boxing. You may even think volleyball when it comes on the men's and women's side, right? But now you're starting to see quite a shift in that. As we start to become a country or a federation that's starting to become known for actually having good soccer teams, right? So now the sports science part of it comes at a young age in the sense of development. And then when they're already professionals, it's about maintaining or making sure that we can elevate their level to, the professional side.
I remember a time where it was just training in the blind, right? Training till your body cracks down, till you're in your breaking point. But now it's more like science driven and based on numbers that you can actually see, and then it makes sense in your head. It's been great to push each of us personally in reaching our best individual performances and individual potential.
Almost every professional team now is using some sort of GPS tracking. It's exciting to see that, if I'm speaking from a player's perspective, that my national team is using the same technology that the United States national team is using, that pro teams in Europe are using, right? That pro teams in South America are using. It changes the chip a little bit. Mentally, it's like, man, this is for real, right? And if they're living up to these standards, offering this kind of tool, I need to now make sure that I'm at a higher level of standard as well, right? So I think it goes hand in hand, and that's really the biggest motivation for us to bring in the player data technology. Besides obviously the data and the metrics, which is huge for our coaching staff, our performance coach has done a really great job of integrating the data. He's had previous experience with different GPS companies, but I think since we've been using this last year, I think he's really had a very positive experience with the functionality.
Compared to other GPS companies, I think this is the most user-friendly that I've ever experienced.
We get the data after trainings and after games and so on, and we get our own personal profile. We sit down with our coaches and they explain how it all comes together with your speed, the velocities you're hitting, and the meters you're running and how much distance you're covering.
The metrics that our performance coach puts out every day after training and after games, even though it's not meant to create internal competition, it shows a lot, right? It shows a lot when it comes to the high-speed runs, for example, right? When it comes to just overall distance covered, when it comes to certain players outperforming consistently in training. If I'm a player and I'm maybe not a starter, and I'm looking into this data and I'm seeing that, wow, the players that are starting all have metrics that are here, that's only gonna enhance my motivation and my attitude towards I need to work hard.
Having these little marginal gains of, okay, we have live data, can we tweak some things during the training session? How can we improve it? Again, having that information available, having that guide of positionally, individually, this is where we want you to be at, is really important. So we have the possibility, we have the players, we have the staff, we have the whole environment to push to the next level. These little details are having player data along, giving this information, utilizing it correctly is the way to go to take this team to the next step. And ultimately, this is what we want to do. This is what we work for day by day.
If we want to compete with the top CONCACAF countries, USA, Mexico, Canada, Costa Rica, Honduras, on the field, we want to make sure that we're doing our best off the field to give our players, to give our organization every advantage we can. So when it comes to the GPS, we felt that it was a necessity not just to track our player loads, not just to be more well-informed when our players are here, but especially in the national team landscape, be able to see how they come into camp or what they're doing before they even get to us, right? Being able to have that relationship with these professional clubs of sharing information only builds the trust between the clubs and us as a federation, which is something that we've really tried to work on, because at the end of the day, our strongest asset is our players.